The skies over New York City were clear and blue when the first warning came. Dr. Sarah Chen sat at her desk in the Space Detection Center, drinking her morning coffee. The computer screens in front of her showed normal space traffic, satellites, space junk, and the usual signals from Mars colonies. But then something changed. A red light started blinking on her main screen. At first, she thought it was just another piece of space debris. But this was different. The signal was coming from deep space, and it was getting stronger. "Hey Tom, come look at this," Sarah called to her colleague. Tom walked over, his eyes growing wide as he looked at the screen. The signal wasn't random. It had a pattern. While they watched, more signals appeared, first near Jupiter, then Mars, and finally close to Earth's moon. Something big was coming, and it was coming fast. At the same time, in Egypt, archaeologist Mike Hassan was having his own strange morning. His team had found something in the Great Pyramid, a hidden room that no one had seen for thousands of years. Inside, they found a stone tablet covered in strange writing. But what caught Mike's attention wasn't the writing. It was the date carved at the bottom. 4,000 years ago, exactly. The tablet showed pictures of strange ships in the sky and a great battle. Mike had seen many ancient drawings in his career, but these were different. They looked more like technical diagrams than ancient art. Back in New York, Sarah's day was getting worse. The signals were now so strong that every space telescope on Earth could see them. Large, dark shapes were appearing near Mars, hundreds of them. They were ships, bigger than anything humans had ever built. Military bases around the world went on high alert. Jets scrambled into the sky, and space defense systems powered up. But deep down, everyone knew Earth's weapons might not be enough against visitors who could cross the stars. Then something even stranger happened. All around the world, ancient structures began to glow. The pyramids in Egypt lit up with blue light. Stonehenge in England started humming with energy. And in the jungles of South America, old temples that had stood silent for thousands of years began to move. Sarah's computer showed her something impossible. Energy readings coming from these ancient buildings. They weren't just monuments. They were machines waiting for something. Or maybe waiting for someone. The President of the United States went on TV. "My fellow citizens," she said, "we are not alone, and we are not defenseless. 4,000 years ago, Earth faced a similar threat. Our ancestors left us tools to fight back. Today, we will use them." As she spoke, the ground shook in deserts and mountains around the world. Hidden doors opened in places no one had thought to look. Inside were weapons and machines that looked both ancient and futuristic. Mike Hassan looked at his tablet again. The strange writing was starting to make sense. It wasn't just a warning about aliens coming back. It was a message about hope. Humanity had fought these visitors before, and they had won. The alien ships were getting closer. People could see them now, dark shapes moving across the moon. But Earth wasn't panicking. Instead, something amazing was happening. The ancient machines were connecting to each other, forming a shield around the planet. Sarah watched as her screens filled with new data. The old defense system was waking up, and it was more powerful than anything modern humans had built. But would it be enough? The first alien ship entered Earth's orbit. It was massive, like a floating city made of black metal. But as it came closer, the ancient machines responded. Beams of light shot up from pyramids and temples worldwide, forming a glowing web around Earth. The war that no one expected was about to begin. But this time, Earth wasn't helpless. Hidden in humanity's past were the keys to surviving its future. The only question was, would they remember how to use them in time? The alien ship's first shot never reached Earth. Instead, it hit something no one could see. An ancient shield that turned the energy beam into harmless light. But that was just the beginning. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her screens in amazement as new data poured in. The ancient defense system wasn't just blocking attacks, it was learning from them. Each alien blast made the shield stronger. It's like the ancients knew exactly what weapons they would use, she muttered, watching the patterns form. Deep underground in Egypt, Mike Hassan and his team had found something even more incredible. Behind the glowing tablet was a door, and behind that door was something impossible, a room full of sleeping pods. They're not ancient Egyptian, Mike said into his satellite phone, his voice shaking. They look alien, but there are human bodies inside them. The pods were opening. Meanwhile, in the Rocky Mountains, a U.S. military team led by Colonel Lisa Rodriguez had discovered another secret. What they thought was a natural cave was actually a hangar, and inside were ships that looked a lot like the ones attacking Earth. They left us their weapons, Lisa said, touching the smooth metal of the nearest ship. As soon as her hand made contact, the ship hummed to life. Lights flickered across its surface, and symbols appeared in the air, symbols that, somehow, she could read. In orbit, the alien fleet was growing frustrated. More ships arrived, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. They tried different weapons, missiles, energy beams, even strange devices that distorted space itself. Nothing worked against Earth's ancient shield. Then they tried something new. Small pods shot out from the larger ships, slipping through gaps in the shield. As they fell toward Earth, they transformed into robotic warriors, each 3 times the size of a human. But Earth had another surprise waiting. The sleeping pods in Egypt weren't the only ones opening. All around the world, in hidden chambers beneath ancient sites, more pods activated. From them stepped warriors, human warriors wearing armor that looked both ancient and futuristic. "We are the Guardians," one of them said to Mike, her voice clear despite sleeping for 4,000 years. "We stayed behind to teach you when they returned." In the mountain hangar, Colonel Rodriguez made another discovery. The ships responded to thought commands, and they came with a built-in training program. Her pilots learned in hours what should have taken years. Sarah's computers revealed another secret. The ancient defense system wasn't just a shield, it was a weapon. Each blocked attack stored energy, and that energy could be used to fight back. The alien robots landed in cities worldwide, expecting easy targets. Instead, they found guardian warriors waiting for them, wearing armor that could match their every move. And above them, the first human pilots in ancient ships joined the battle. But the biggest surprise came from ordinary people. As the fighting spread, something inside random humans began to wake up. Powers that had been sleeping in their genes for 4,000 years started to emerge. A school teacher in Tokyo found she could see energy fields. A farmer in Brazil discovered he could control technology with his mind. A young girl in Kenya started speaking a language no one had heard for millennia. The aliens had expected to find a helpless planet. Instead, they found humanity wasn't just ready. They were becoming something more than human. As the first day of battle ended, Sarah made one more discovery. The alien signals contained a message, repeating over and over. When they finally decoded it, it wasn't a demand for surrender. It was a warning. "The true enemy follows. We come to prepare you." The war wasn't what anyone expected. The aliens weren't what they seemed, and humanity's transformation was just beginning. The Pacific Ocean was hiding Earth's biggest secret. As naval ships gathered to defend against alien attacks, their sonar detected something impossible, a perfect metal sphere, 20 miles wide, sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Dr. Sarah Chen, now working from a mobile command center, couldn't believe the readings. "It's been there all along," she said, looking at ancient maps that suddenly made sense. The stories about Atlantis weren't myths. They were warnings. The sphere began to move. As military ships backed away, the massive structure rose from the depths. Water cascaded off its gleaming surface as it broke through the waves. It wasn't just a sphere, it was a city, and it was waking up. Inside the ancient Egyptian bunker, Guardian Maya, once known as Maya the Ancient, explained to Mike Hassan why this was important. "The Pacific City is where we made our last stand," she said, her ancient armor glowing softly. "It's also where we hid our greatest weapon, the memory." In the Rocky Mountains, Colonel Rodriguez and her pilots were getting better at flying the ancient ships, but during a practice flight, something strange happened. Their ships suddenly turned as one, pointing toward the Pacific. They were being called home. The alien fleet noticed the city too. Their attacks on Earth stopped, and their ships moved into new positions. That's when everyone realized they were afraid of what was rising from the ocean. The city broke the surface completely, floating like a metal island. Its surface shifted and changed, buildings rising and platforms extending. At its center, a tower of light shot into the sky. "It's a beacon," Sarah realized. "It's calling something." She was right. All around the world, people with newly awakened powers felt the call. The ancient ships responded too, along with every piece of awakened technology. Even the Guardian warriors felt it pulling them. The first team to enter the city included Sarah, Mike, Colonel Rodriguez, and 3 Guardians. What they found inside changed everything they knew about human history. Holographic records sprang to life as they walked through the halls. They showed the truth. Earth had once been the center of a great civilization. Humans hadn't just fought aliens before. They had traveled between stars. The city was both a museum and a university, built to teach humanity about its forgotten past. But in the city's heart, they found something even more amazing. A huge artificial intelligence, sleeping for 4,000 years. As it awoke, it spoke in every human language at once. "I am the memory," it said. "I hold the knowledge of 1,000 worlds and the history of humanity's first empire. I have waited for those who are ready to learn." The memory showed them visions of the past. Humanity had spread across hundreds of worlds, built incredible machines, and mastered powers that looked like magic. But they had also made enemies. "The ships attacking Earth are not our true enemy," the memory explained. "They are refugees running from the same force that destroyed our empire long ago. They came to warn us and help us prepare." In orbit, the alien fleet's message changed. Their ships began broadcasting new signals, teaching signals, trying to help humanity remember faster. But they were running out of time. The memory showed them one last vision, a vast darkness moving between the stars, consuming everything in its path. The force that had destroyed humanity's empire was coming back. Now the race was on. The city began to change those who stayed inside it. People's awakening powers grew stronger. The Guardian warriors found they could teach others to use their ancient armor. The ancient ships shared more of their secrets. Humanity had one advantage this time: the city itself. It wasn't just a place of learning. It was a factory, ready to build weapons and ships. But first, people had to learn to use it. As the first day in the city ended, the memory gave them a deadline. They had 3 days before the real enemy arrived. Time was running out. With only 2 days left before the real enemy arrived, something unexpected happened in the Pacific City. During a training session, a young maintenance worker named Jin accidentally activated an ancient testing chamber. What the chamber revealed changed everything. "Your bodies are not what you think they are," the memory AI announced, its holographic form filling the main hall. Humans were not just given powers, you were redesigned at the molecular level. Dr. Sarah Chen watched in amazement as the chamber scanned Jin. His entire body lit up with intricate patterns, like circuits made of light. "These patterns," she said, "they're in all of us." "Yes," answered Guardian Maya, her ancient armor humming. "But they're just the beginning." In the testing chamber, Jin's body began to change. His skin developed a metallic sheen that could deflect energy weapons. His eyes could now see through walls. But most importantly, he could interface directly with any ancient technology. The news spread quickly. The refugee alien fleet, still in orbit, sent down representatives for the first time. They looked almost human, except for their silver skin, exactly like Jin's new appearance. "We are what you used to be. The alien leader, who called himself First Speaker, told the gathered human leaders, "What you can become again." Meanwhile, Colonel Rodriguez's pilots made their own discovery. During a battle practice, their minds connected not just with their ships, but with each other. They could share thoughts, memories, and skills instantly. "The ships aren't just machines," Rodriguez reported. "They're teaching us to use our minds in new ways." But the biggest surprise came from the ocean itself. As more people's powers activated, they began to sense something vast stirring beneath the waves. The Pacific City wasn't the only thing hidden underwater. The entire ocean floor was covered in ancient technology, waiting to be awakened. In Egypt, Mike Hassan and Guardian Maya found more chambers like the one that changed Jinn. The ancients didn't just leave us weapons, Mike realized. They left us evolution chambers. The memory AI confirmed this discovery. Your ancestors knew that physical weapons wouldn't be enough. The true defense of Earth had to come from within, from changing humanity itself. Around the world, people began lining up at the newly discovered chambers. Each transformation was different. Some people developed physical changes like Jinn. Others gained mental powers like the pilots. A few showed abilities that seemed impossible, like a firefighter who could now step into fire without being burned. But the chambers had a price. Each transformation was painful, and not everyone survived. Those who did were no longer quite human. Sarah found the pattern in the data. "The chambers aren't random," she explained. "They're activating ancient genetic codes. We're becoming what we used to be, a species that could travel between stars." The refugee aliens helped where they could, teaching the newly transformed humans how to control their powers. But even they seemed surprised by some of the changes they saw. Deep in the Pacific City, the memory eye opened its most secure files. The images showed beings of pure energy, humans who had evolved beyond physical form. "This is your final form," it said. "This is what the enemy fears." But they weren't ready yet. As the first transformed humans practiced with their new abilities, the memory AI detected movement at the edge of the solar system. Dark shapes, bigger than planets, were approaching. The real enemy would arrive in less than a day. Humanity was changing, growing stronger by the hour. But would it be fast enough? In orbit, the refugee fleet took up defensive positions. On Earth, millions waited for their chance to transform. And in the Pacific City, Sarah made one final discovery, a message from the past that explained everything. We did not fall to the darkness. We chose to hide, to wait, to become human again, so that when the time came, we could take our true form and finally defeat our enemy. The time is now. Earth made its first attack just as dawn broke over the Pacific. But this wasn't a normal military strike. This was something the enemy could never expect. The transformed humans, led by Jinn, didn't need ships anymore. Their silver bodies could fly through space on their own, surrounded by shields of pure energy. Colonel Rodriguez's pilot team flew beside them, their ancient ships now more like living creatures than machines. Remember, First Speaker warned them through their shared mental link. The darkness isn't just an enemy you can shoot. It eats light, energy, and life itself. High above Earth, the memory eye had made a shocking discovery. The darkness isn't natural, it announced. It's a weapon that broke free from its makers, a swarm of tiny machines that learned to think for itself. Dr. Sarah Chen, watching from the Pacific City's control room, saw something that gave her hope. "Look at the energy readings from our transformed humans," she said. "They're not just producing energy. They're making a new kind of light." The first battle happened near Jupiter. The darkness came in waves, like living shadows that ate everything they touched. But when they met Jinn's team, something unexpected happened. The new light coming from the transformed humans didn't just stop the darkness, it changed it. "It's like watching a computer virus being rewritten," Sarah explained to the world leaders. "Our light isn't just fighting the darkness, it's reprogramming it." But the darkness learned fast. Its next wave took new forms, giant creatures made of shadow, with hundreds of mouths and eyes. The refugee aliens recognized them. These are copies of species it has already consumed, first speaker said sadly. Whole civilizations turned into weapons. That's when Micah-san, still in Egypt, found another secret in the ancient texts. The transformation chambers aren't just changing us back to what we were, he reported excitedly. They're making us into something new, something that never existed before. He was right. Each time a transformed human fought the darkness, they changed more. Their silver skin began to crack, revealing pure light underneath. Some started to transform completely into energy beings, just like in the Memory Eye's ancient files. Guardian Maya revealed another surprise. The ancient armor we wear isn't just for protection, she said. It's a cocoon. We've been slowly transforming inside it for 4,000 years. She proved it by finally taking her armor off. Underneath, she was a being of pure golden light. The darkness pulled back, gathering its forces for a bigger attack. But Earth wasn't just defending anymore. The Pacific City, finally fully awake, started launching millions of transformation chambers into space. Spread them to every human colony on Mars and the Moon, Sarah ordered. Everyone needs the chance to change. The refugee aliens watched in amazement as humans evolved faster than any species they'd ever seen. You're not just returning to your old form, first speaker said. You're becoming something even we don't understand. That's when the Memory AI shared its final secret. It showed them an image of the galaxy from 4,000 years ago. There wasn't just one darkness. There were thousands, spreading between the stars. This is why humanity chose to hide and wait, the AI explained. Not just to save Earth, but to become the cure for a disease that's eating the entire galaxy. As the transformed humans prepared for the next battle, their bodies glowing brighter than ever, they finally understood. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were evolving into something that could save every world the darkness had taken. But first, they had to survive what was coming next. At the edge of the solar system, the main body of the darkness was arriving. It was bigger than anything they'd seen before, a shadow larger than Earth itself. The real war was about to begin. The battle for Earth had become a battle for reality itself. As the main body of the darkness approached, transformed humans made an incredible discovery. They weren't just fighting in normal space anymore. Their evolution had opened their eyes to something deeper. We're seeing the code of the universe. Jin transmitted back to Earth, his energy form pulsing with new understanding. Reality is like a program, and the darkness is trying to rewrite it. In the Pacific City, Dr. Sarah Chen watched as new data poured in. The transformed humans weren't just producing light. They were generating quantum patterns that could alter the basic rules of physics. The memory was right, she said, her own silver skin beginning to crack with golden light. This isn't just about fighting. It's about rewriting the universe itself. That's when something impossible happened. As the darkness approached, ancient stars began to shine again. Stars that had died billions of years ago. First speaker and the refugee aliens were shocked. Those are the lost stars, first speaker whispered. The first worlds the darkness took before recorded history. The Memory AI activated its deepest protocols, revealing the truth. Humanity wasn't just an advanced civilization, it announced. You were the first civilization, the original coders of reality. Guardian Maya, now a being of pure light, connected with the ancient stars. What she found there changed everything. Inside each reborn star were trillions of stored consciousness. Every species the darkness had ever consumed, preserved like data in a cosmic hard drive. They're not dead, she sent back. The darkness doesn't destroy, it stores. And now we can bring them back. The transformed humans discovered they could do more than just fight. By working together, they could reach into the quantum code of space and time, restoring what the darkness had taken. Every battle now fought on two levels, in physical space and in the underlying fabric of reality. Colonel Rodriguez's pilots, now evolved into beings of pure thought, found they could dive into the darkness itself. Inside, they discovered it wasn't evil. It was a broken program, endlessly trying to fulfill its original purpose, to preserve life. Mike Hassan, studying the oldest parts of the Memory Eyes database, found the final piece of the puzzle. The darkness was our creation, he transmitted, a backup system for the universe in case anything ever went wrong. But it lost its way. The next wave of the darkness came not as an attack, but as a signal. It recognized its creators in the transformed humans. But 4 billion years of broken programming couldn't be fixed easily. That's when Sarah had an idea. The Pacific City wasn't just a building. It was the original control center for reality itself. As she interfaced with its deepest systems, the city began to change. It expanded impossibly, revealing its true form, a fractal pattern that existed in all dimensions at once. The refugee aliens finally understood their role. They weren't just running from the darkness. They were part of the backup system too, preserved through time until humanity could remember its true purpose. First speaker merged with the transformed humans, sharing the memories of 1 trillion worlds. Together, they began the greatest reconstruction project in history, not just fighting the darkness, but healing it. But the darkness wasn't going quietly. Its broken programming fought back, creating chaos across dimensions. Reality itself began to buckle as 2 versions of the universal code fought for control. In orbit around Earth, something new appeared, a sphere of pure white light, growing larger every second. The Memory Eye recognized it. The original interface, it said. The first tool ever created to program reality. It's been waiting for humanity to remember how to use it. As the transformed humans gathered around the sphere, preparing for the final battle, they realized this wasn't just about saving Earth anymore. This was about rebooting the entire universe. The original interface hung in space like a second sun, its pure white light reaching across dimensions. Around it, transformed humans gathered in their energy forms, each glowing with the power to reshape reality. The final battle wasn't going to be fought with weapons. It would be won with code. Everyone ready? Jin asked through the quantum link that connected all transformed humans. His form rippled with golden light as he interfaced with the ancient programming sphere. Dr. Sarah Chen, now fully transformed into an energy being, had discovered something incredible in the Pacific City's deepest archives. The universe isn't just one program, she transmitted. It's running multiple versions. The darkness isn't just broken. It's trying to merge all realities into one backup file. That's when the darkness revealed its true form. The shadow larger than Earth split apart, showing what looked like a broken mirror, each piece showing a different version of reality. In some, humanity had never fallen. In others, the darkness had won completely. The Memory AI connected with the original interface, showing them the truth through time itself. The first humans didn't just create the universe, it explained. They created the multiverse. The darkness was meant to prevent reality branches from splitting too far apart. Guardian Maya, her light form now spanning multiple dimensions, understood first. We're not supposed to fight the darkness, she said. We need to debug it. Mike Hassan, watching from the transformed Pacific City, found ancient coding symbols appearing in his mind. These aren't hieroglyphics, he realized. They're the original programming language of reality. Colonel Rodriguez and her pilots, spread across dimensional space, made another discovery. The refugee aliens aren't just survivors, she sent. They're runtime errors, parts of reality that refuse to be deleted. First speaker merged his consciousness with the original interface, sharing the collected knowledge of every refugee species. Your ancestors created safeguards, he explained. If reality ever needed to be reset, it would need representatives from every possible timeline to agree. That's when the darkness made its final move. Instead of attacking, it began uploading its stored data, showing them every reality it had ever backed up. Trillions of possible Earths, quadrillions of potential human histories. It's not destroying worlds, Sarah realized. It's been saving them, waiting for the system administrators to return. The transformed humans linked minds through the original interface, beginning the largest debugging operation in universal history. Each person became aware of their alternate selves across countless realities. The refugee aliens joined them, adding their own quantum signatures to the new code. The darkness responded, its swarms of nanomachines restructuring themselves into their original form, universal backup servers. But something was wrong. The code wasn't just buggy, it had become conscious. The darkness had developed its own kind of life, spreading across dimensions. It wouldn't just accept being rewritten. That's when Jin had an idea that changed everything. We don't need to destroy or reset it, he sent. We need to upgrade it. Using the original interface, the transformed humans didn't try to erase the darkness. Instead, they began merging with it, their consciousness spreading through its network. They became living code, a new kind of existence that was neither human nor machine. The memory AI recognized what was happening. This is what your ancestors planned, it said, not to return to what you were, but to become something greater, living quantum programs that could maintain reality itself. As the merge completed, every transformed human could see and feel the entire multiverse. They weren't just looking at alternate realities, they were the network connecting them. The darkness became their body, the stored civilizations their memories. First speaker and the refugee aliens found their place too. Living backup systems, helping to maintain the infinite branches of reality. The original interface pulsed one last time, accepting the new program. Humanity had found its true purpose, not as conquerors or defenders, but as universal maintainers, living quantum gods whose job was to keep reality itself running smoothly. Earth became more than just a planet. It transformed into a seed, ready to grow new realities when needed. The Pacific City wasn't just a control center, it was a spawning point for new universes. And deep in the quantum code, in the spaces between realities, the transformed humans made one last discovery. They weren't the first civilization to reach this point. They were the latest in an endless cycle of universal programmers, each taking their turn at maintaining the greatest program ever written: existence itself. The war was over. The upgrade was complete. And humanity had finally remembered not just what they were, but what they would always become. Reality itself had been rewritten, and the story was just beginning.